How we doing, Patriot fans? Welcome to this episode of the PrimeTime Patriots podcast. What a week to be a Patriot fan. Best win of the season. Not even really that close. Awesome way to get back on track for this football team. I'll let you toss out some of your thoughts first.
Yeah, I just, a lot of speculations going into this game, Chargers, top 10 team in the NFL. And, we just came out and performed. It was a great win. And offense didn't look great. I thought defense played their best game of the year. Mm-hmm. And, 2 interceptions. Adrian Phillips, big game for him. But, definitely the best defensive performance we've seen all year.
Absolutely. Yeah, I put right on top of my page here, get on the train, man. I mean, if you agree that the Chargers are legit AFC contenders, which a lot of people do, there's really no way to then say the Pats aren't the very least a fringe playoff team. Like, they're in this thing. So get on the hype train. It has officially started. Big win in LA, too. Honestly.
Interesting, too, because we talked, 2 weeks ago after that Dallas loss.
That might be it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And they're bouncing back, and, if we can keep this rolling, that'd be huge.
Yeah, it was good. I want to say that on record, I did make it clear. Never put the nail in the coffin.
Yep.
You didn't either.
We didn't. Nope.
Yeah, we never put the nail in the coffin.
We said it was very close. The
Yes.
hammer was hovering.
We said the hammer was hovering, and it was. But now this team, great win here. I actually wanted to start with the defense this week, and for good reason. Yeah, I think they balled out.
Absolutely.
I mean, they held Herbert to 18 to 35, just over 50. 223 yards and 2 touchdowns. That looks a little weird, but get into that in a sec. And then you mentioned the 2 picks. My big thing with that is that a good chunk of that yardage and one of those touchdowns came when they were already down 10 at the end of the game, so I'm not saying the game's over down 10, but the defense was willing to give you things that they weren't all game. So, I mean, my dad actually had a bet on the over for the yards for Herbert for 250, and they brought it up at, midway through the third, and he was at, 120.
Oh.
So, we really shut him down when we had to. He ended up going off towards the end, but... Yeah. We did what we had to do.
Yeah, I thought, honestly, like I said, I thought JC would be on Mike, and he was, and he held him to 2 catches for 19 yards. Keenan, like we talked last week, is, he started off hot. Mm-hmm. No one could really cover him. He got that early touchdown. But after, the first half or so, we shut him down pretty good, and... I mean, I know he had 6 catches, 77 yards, and a touchdown, but, if you look at what he did in the first half compared to the second half, it's much more significant. But we held him in check, so.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I put that too. It was a somewhat shaky start, but ultimately, 2 biggest things for me was they held him to 4 out of 12 on third down, so 33%. And they also forced a season-high 5 punts. When I looked this up, my initial plan was I was going to say minus the Jets, because I would assume that in those Jets games you forced punts.
Wow.
You didn't. You forced more punts in this game than you did against any other team all year, including 2 against the Jets. So they really stepped up on third down and made plays and forced Herbert to give the ball back. It's very good to see.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. And then to wrap it up basically on defense, I thought it was a great play as a whole unit. I mean, we mentioned Adrian Phillips stepping up and having a really big game. But besides him, there really wasn't, Judon didn't have a standout game. JC played Mike very well. Yeah. But neither of these were things that these guys don't do on usually a regular basis, and they were still able to put together this really dominant, powerful performance against a really good quarterback. So.
Yeah, 3 sacks on the day, which is pretty good, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Especially Herbert, who can, move out of the pocket, do what he has to do with his legs.
Yep.
And then the other thing is, we said going into it, Eckler was not going to be stopped, but we held him in check. 6 catches, 60 yards, 11 rushes for 64 and a touchdown. The numbers are pretty good for him, but in terms of the usage that we were able to, just just stop them at the big points.
Yeah.
I think it was Justin Jackson who broke out like a 75-yard run early. I want to say it was like the first quarter, maybe it was the second quarter. Other than that big play, I mean, we gave up a 28-yarder to Eckler, but we were pretty good against the rush, I thought.
Yeah.
Other than those big plays.
Yeah, I agree. I think he was similar in a sense to Allen. He was really firing when they came out of the game. And then he actually, on that last drive where we said Herbert was kind of getting some garbage stats towards the end there, a lot of those passes were some checkdowns and yards after catch plays by Eckler. So definitely inflated his stats. I have Eckler in fantasy, so I'll take it.
Yeah, me too.
But either way, yeah, they stepped up against these guys when they had to, and that was the best part. It was timely. Whenever they needed big stops, and that's been a problem this year. It's been when they actually really need something. That's when the defense has been kind of shaky. This game, it was the exact opposite. Started a little slow, got a little carefree at the end of the game when it was basically wrapped up. But when they had to step up and make big plays, they were doing it all day. So
yeah,
good to see.
Yep.
You good to move to offense?
Yes.
Yes. All right. So I thought it was a pretty shaky day for the offense all around. And we got to realize, too, they only scored 20 points. Or 21, I guess, if you count the extra point. But you got the pick six.
Exactly.
Which really sealed the game, was the big turning point in that game. So they only scored 20. And I thought it was Mac's worst day. I put question mark because I don't think he was causing huge issues. He was uncharacteristically Mac. Like, he was missing throws, and it was, he didn't turn it over.
Exactly. That's why I don't know if you could call it his worst game, but I see what you're saying, yeah.
Yeah, most uncharacteristic, I would say. Yeah, you got anything on him more specifically?
Yeah, so he was, 51% completion percentage.
Oh, yeah, I want to say, too, this was interesting. They both had...
18 for 35.
They were both 18 for 35.
Yeah.
And they had a 5-yard difference, so very interesting.
So pretty much all I said about Mac was no touchdowns is concerning, I think, but we got the win, so it doesn't really matter to me. But just going forward, I think no touchdowns is a little concerning. But
we did mention they have a pretty good secondary.
Yeah, Derwin James was on fire. I mean, guy he had 13 tackles.
Yeah.
So I get not wanting to chance it or whatever, but still, I think you got to have a touchdown. But we won, so I'm not gonna harp on him too much.
Oh, I'm curious, not to cut you off, on this specific play, who do you put the blame on for the missed touchdown with him and Bourne?
I don't remember that.
Oh, okay. Well, either way, they were at like the 2 slant, and it's coming up high, and like a lot of people are saying Mac. It was a little high. I agree with that, and a lot of people are also saying Mac rifled it in there when he didn't necessarily have to.
Yeah. Okay, I do remember that.
Yeah, I still feel like Bourne's going to make that catch.
Yeah, it went off his fingertips.
Yeah, if you get 2 hands on the ball like he did, you got to catch it.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's one that he could have had.
Yeah, looked a little bit like Nelson Aguilar there, but
yes. yeah. Aguilar, big catch in the first drive, actually. Yeah, took the top off him.
So, yeah, Mac, 51%, 218, no touchdowns. So, not a horrible day, but not very good.
Yeah, not used to what we're seeing from him.
Yeah.
Still young. I mean, obviously, these games are going to happen.
Yeah.
Especially, so it's not concerning or anything, but he was uncharacteristic for the first time this year. Like, even when he was throwing the picks and stuff, he's been very accurate in those games, and he's, like, done what you'd expect Mac Jones to do.
Yeah, I just want to come out and say I apologize for the horrific, projection I had for Hunter Henry. he was not very well.
He had a bad day. What did he have?
He had 1 catch for 33. I remember it was a deep post.
Yep, that's
it was a great throw. Just after that, he didn't do anything, so...
They tried to go to him in the red zone.
Yeah, one drive particular, I think it was a flag, he had it, and then it got called back or something.
Yes, I think they got, like, holding, and then they ended up just running it.
So, it sucks to see, because his four-game touchdown streak is gone now, but, I thought he was going to have a huge game, huge day.
It was the other ex-Charger.
It was kind of a bad day for him, but, Yeah, Adrian Phillips, like you said, he had a fucking big day.
Exactly. And, to be able to do that
against his old team.
In the old team's stadium,
Yeah.
like to seal it, like it wasn't like it was in the first quarter or something. That ended, not ended, but really separated the gap and made it so the Patriots had to shoot themselves in the foot to lose that game.
Yep.
Some good things though. I thought the O-line played pretty good again, and I think they're really building something the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Has Trent Brown came back? I don't remember.
I still don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Which is interesting because
he's our one of our better linemen.
I think Onwenu's better, personally, and then I don't think he's a better player, but I think David Andrews is way more important to our team.
Yeah.
But then I would say Trent Brown after that. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with him when they've really had all this success without him.
Yeah. And then I just wanted to touch on the receivers. Aguilar, 3 catches, 60 yards, and 44-yard play, the big shot. So that's nice to see. And then pretty much just Kendrick and Jacoby, 4 catches, both had in the 30s for yardage. I just said they need more action because I do believe those two are like our playmakers, the guy who is going to catch the ball and get yards. So that's what I got out of them. And then we shied away from the tight ends again.
Yeah.
Which is concerning because we were on a streak where we were getting them touchdowns, throwing the ball to them pretty decent throughout the whole games. But
on that,
what's shied away from them.
What's your concern level at this point with Jonnu Smith? Because I haven't thought much about it, so I'm going to have to formulate.
I'm not too concerned. I think we just started using Hunter more. I think he's more, like we said, a traditional tight end. We just got to find a way to get Jonnu open, get him the ball. I don't know what you got to do with it, but like we talked about a few weeks ago, split him out wide like a typical receiver. I mean, it worked that game when we did it, so give it a shot. I don't know.
Yeah. I'd say...
Because he's too good to not use.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
We know what he can do.
I'm very slight concern. I think it is mostly what you're saying. It's more of he's a player who, he's very gifted and athletic, but he's not off the charts, which is the thing. So I think he's a guy who needs time in an offense for him and for the offensive coordinator to figure out how to best use him. Yeah. I mean, it took him a while to get going in Tennessee.
Yeah.
So, and he really wasn't a big factor until his last year there. So, it would make sense that it's going to take him a little while here for us to figure out plays that work for him, for him to figure out how to play well with Mac, how to do all these things. So,
yeah.
But then there were 2 great things that I thought the offense did, and that was, 1, the time of possession. It was 35 minutes, just over 35 minutes for the Patriots, and right under 25 for the Chargers. That is how you beat powerful offenses. You keep them off the field. I think they did a great job. And then I guess it's actually part of that same note because it goes along with time of possession. But that final shutdown drive was great to see, especially after, like we said, a pretty shaky day offensively. They got the ball with 7 minutes or something like that, 8 minutes, and they were up 7, and they drive down, take 5 or 6 minutes off of the clock, and kick a field goal.
They're finally turning into men.
Exactly.
They can finish now.
They're finishing games.
Yep. So that's nice to see for
sure. They're going through puberty. Hopefully they end up.
We
don't know if they're going to be jacked, if they're going to roll into the playoffs, or if they're going to
we might get someone pregnant by the end. I don't know. Who knows?
We'll have to see. A lot of innuendos. But either way, great week. Best win of the season so far. I don't know how you can't feel way better about this team than you did a week ago.
And even Harris, he had a good game, I thought. I mean, he only averaged 3.5. Yeah, 3.5.
Yeah, it's a little misleading, though. But especially that last drive, he was falling down in bounds on purpose.
Exactly.
So I don't think he had a bad day.
No, I don't either. Yeah. 23 carries, 80 yards, and a touchdown. I think that's pretty well, honestly. So, yeah, good week.
Nice to see him take over 20 carries again and not really have any issues. Didn't pull himself out or anything like that, so that was good. All right, I think that wraps it up. We're going to hop into next week. We got some news for you guys around the NFL before we get into the game against the Panthers next week. All right, guys, so before we get into the preview of Patriots versus Panthers, do got some NFL news to go over. I'll let you kind of toss them out there and we can discuss
All right,
them.
so the big one, everyone's probably heard this. You'll probably hear it by the time this comes out. Henry Ruggs III, not the Chargers, Raiders.
Yeah.
Raiders receiver, they drafted 2 years ago. Charged with a DUI, killing a woman and her dog early on Tuesday morning. Ruggs was released by the Raiders and could face 2 to 20 years in prison.
Yeah, he's never going to be on an NFL roster again.
Sad to see because, he's a young talent, guy who definitely could have been good throughout the years, but, it's a horrible thing that happened, so rest in peace to the person who died and
absolutely
horrible accident that happened.
Yeah, two things come to mind when I think about this. The first is me and you were talking about it earlier. He was the first receiver taken in his draft class.
Yeah,
and even in the moment, it was very surprising.
It was.
Because we were looking at some of the names. It was CD, Jerry Jeudy. You could add T. Higgins.
Yeah. You said CD.
I said CD. So. There's another one in there we're missing. But, there's a lot.
Justin Jefferson.
Oh, yeah. How do you forget Justin Jefferson?
Exactly.
But either way, we looked at a redraft. They had 7 receivers going above Henry Ruggs. This was a couple weeks ago. They redrafted that class. And it's like, when this happens, the second thing I was going to say is we're starting, or I don't want to say that. This could have happened anywhere. But there was concerns about a team being in Vegas.
Yeah.
And a guy going, 156 miles an hour at
156. I guess the airbags went off at 129. And that is just horrible, but
3:40 in the morning.
The fact he's still alive is insane.
Yeah. Oh, it is. It's. I would never say that, but it's kind of unfortunate that he's the guy who does this, and other people have to be the one that face the consequence.
Yeah,
it
sucks.
It's really not fair. It's horrendous what happened, and he's never gonna play football again professionally. He's all
crazy.
Done. It's crazy to see.
Yeah, literally just. One of our buddies texted in the group chat yesterday.
Yep.
He's like, yo, Henry Ruggs might have died. And we're like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And
at first, the first thing you do is go, oh, poor Henry, what's wrong? And then it quickly spiraled into, this guy's a problem.
Yeah.
This guy was at complete fault, and he killed somebody.
Yeah. And going back to Vegas, dude, they're having big issues this year. Mm-hmm. And they're still finding a way to win, which is surprising.
Mm-hmm.
But
the whole
their coach, the whole just situation is just going on there. So let's get to some other news. Jalen Smith, who was released by the Cowboys earlier this year, is now released by the Packers, which is very surprising because he's a good player. Maybe something's going on with him. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know too much about him. I haven't watched too much of his games, but like you were telling me, he was a Pro Bowler a couple of years ago.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Or at the very least, a fringe Pro Bowler. He was in the conversation. So to see him now on 2 teams and now a free agent before halfway through the season. Yeah.
Something's up with him, I'm guessing. I don't know if it's injury or maybe it's just his attitude or his behavior. I don't know.
Yeah.
Packers are without Aaron Rodgers this week due to COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And then Von Miller, this is the biggest news.
Oh, yeah. That's the biggest trade deadline news.
Yeah. So Miller shipped to the Rams for a 2nd and 3rd round pick. And
I think those are literally the 2 most dominant defensive linemen of the past decade. Or did I say defensive lineman. Yeah, Darnold and
yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, that trade honestly, I don't think it's a horrible trade either way. If you're looking at the Broncos' perspective, he had 1 more year left on his deal. Mm-hmm. I think at the end of this year. Yep. So,
and they got a second and a third.
Old. And so if he walked away, let's say Miller, signed somewhere at the end of this year, if he was still in the Broncos, they would have only got a 5th round pick out of that.
Mm-hmm.
So they're looking for the future, second and third. I mean, you'd like to get a guy of that caliber a little more.
Mm-hmm. But it's tough.
He's 32 years old, and you're not going to get much more than that. Mm-hmm. So for the Rams, I thought that was a pretty good pickup for them. They're going to have they already have one of the best defenses, and this helps.
If you have to pick a winner, who would you pick?
It's tough to say. I mean, I think overall, I'd say the Rams, but that's only because you're increasing your chances to go farther for a Super Bowl run. But the Broncos, their future, they got some guys, man.
Mm-hmm. So, I would actually lean Denver, and I agree with you that I think this is a win for both teams. Like, the Rams are, I think, even before this trade, were legit contenders.
Top three.
Yeah, legit Super Bowl contenders. And now you add, I think, besides Aaron Donald, who's on your line, the most dominant guy of the past 10 years. And I know he's not exactly what he was, but he's still Von Miller.
Exactly.
He's still a machine. So he's going to be a force on that D-line. Yeah. Who do you do? Like, you double those two guys. You can't double both of them.
And then you got Ramsey in the secondary. Crazy.
Yeah, that's filthy.
Crazy.
And then, Matt Stafford's ball, and they're in good shape.
Yeah, they are. And then just two more things I want to touch on. Christian McCaffrey projected to make his comeback this week.
Let's wait. We'll talk about that.
All right. And then we got Deshaun Jackson released by the Rams as well.
Yeah, I do want to touch on that. I'd like them to bring him in and at least evaluate him. I don't see what you lose from it. I mean, you've invested in these pass catchers, so you don't want to then be like,
just get rid of them.
Yeah, you wouldn't have to get rid of anybody per se, but you don't want to be like, I'm unhappy with what we're doing right now. I'm bringing in another guy. Like, I think that just rocks their confidence a little bit.
Yeah. So, I totally agree with you. I think they should definitely take a look at Jackson, pick him up, sign him to a couple mil. You know, he's not going to just sign him to a 1-year deal. Mm-hmm. He's 34 years old. He's an old guy. He won't be in the league too much longer, but
you've been lucky injury-wise, too. You could lose somebody here. And
exactly. And
you could always use it.
You know, he can still beat you down the field. He's still a very fast person. Mm-hmm. And he's got great hands. So, we're comparing him to Aguilar. He's pretty much can do everything Aguilar can do, but I think he can catch better. So
he can definitely catch better.
So, I don't know. Why not take a chance on him?
I would take a shot. Before we hop in Panthers, what do you think about the trade deadline? Are you happy we made no moves? And if we did make a move, what would you have liked to have seen us done?
The only two things that come to my mind when I think about, the trade deadline, I think definitely could have made a move to possibly increase the running back room, only because, the injuries we faced all year, and also just the usage that we've seen out of some guys who aren't typically, running back.
Yeah, Brandon Bolden.
Exactly. So
great player. We love Brandon Bolden.
But I mean, I saw Melvin Gordon. He's definitely, a big spender, but if someone wouldn't have been horrible to trade for. But I'm not too mad about it because Harris has been playing very well.
And I'm going to steal your other one because I think I know what it is. Yeah. Because it's my one thing. I would have liked to add some corner depth.
Yeah.
I think you could have used it. You've had a lot of things from the John Jones injury to the Stephon Gilmore trade. Like, it was supposed to be probably your strongest unit on the entire team. And they're not bad by any means, but they've become
a lot weaker.
Yeah, a lot closer to average than we would have ever thought. We thought they were going to be very dominant. So I think it could help to add some depth there. Yeah. And you get some guys like, I think Jalen Mills has been playing a little too much on the outside. It's just not what he's comfortable doing.
He's more of a slot.
Yeah, he doesn't have burner speed. He's more of a jitterbug. He's twitchy. Yeah. So, I think you could have added some depth in that secondary, but other than that, I'm not mad about it because, like I said, or I don't know if I said it, but the team has been on this good pace. They've been building these past couple weeks and, showing some stuff. So, never a problem to not mess with things when they're going well. So. Yeah. All right, so now we will hop in to the preview of next week. Patriots traveling to Carolina to play the Panthers. And this team, man, they started 3-0, and they had the whole NFL talking. I was riding high on the whole Sam Darnold thing, doing the Told You So tour, because I've loved Sam Darnold for a long time. But since then, they lost Christian McCaffrey. They lost 4 in a row after that start. Kind of got back on track, but they beat the trash can Falcons. So, I don't know how much you want to take away from that.
Yeah.
They're definitely they're the perfect example of a team that is just spiraling out of control.
Yeah,
right now.
and it's tough to see because I think that defense is a top 5 defense in the league right now. I really do.
Yeah, you're a fan. You're a big Panthers fan too.
Yeah, I like the Panthers.
Your
for
second
sure.
team.
Yeah,
I would think.
yeah. But the offense.
Seahawks, by the way, second team. But go ahead.
The offense is just pretty fucking bad the last 4 weeks. And that, it's definitely McCaffrey's out. It's a tough situation. One of the best running backs in the league, but they have, in my opinion, I think DJ Moore is a top 10 receiver in this league. And he's been balling out this year, but his play just doesn't work when he can't get the ball in his hands.
Yeah.
Cuz
I think he's as good as literally anybody after the catch. Once the ball's in his hands, the stuff he had that play, I'll never forget because we were watching it live here. It was a few weeks ago. He gets popped. Oh yeah, and he goes down and does the whole plant with his hand.
The Cowboys,
and yeah, it was crazy. So, he's special after the catch.
He is, and Sam Darnold the last 4 weeks has been horrible. He's been replaced. I mean, now he's facing. He might not play this week because of an injury, but. So P.J. Walker might be getting the start. We don't know yet, but I mean, it's just tough to watch. A team that started very well and just spiraling down. But it'll be a good game, I think.
Yeah, and like you said, the defense is pretty good. It's a good.
I think they're a very good defense. Yeah.
Yeah, they got a lot of really great names. Shaq Thompson. Is there right?
Shaq Thompson
he's a machine. He's a
so
beast.
Good, yeah.
They added Stephon Gilmore from us, so that could be interesting. I'm sure he's going to be trying to give them all the hints that he can possibly give them. But even the defense, I think, in these past few weeks, I mean, I know you think they're better than I do, but they got blown out by the Giants.
And so. I think that's because the offense, though. Dude, if you look at the stats that Darnold had against that game, he got replaced, dude.
Yeah.
They literally had, I don't know the numbers, but they had maybe 5 first downs. I don't know exactly the numbers, but, dude, they could not move the ball.
Yeah, so that's definitely been an issue. I think even the defense, who is a very good defense, even they have been somewhat, declining. I think it's just the whole team at this point. They're still a really good defense, but I don't know. I think, and like you said, it's either going to be Darnold or P.J. Washington.
P.J. Walker.
Oh, P.J. Walker. My bad. Belichick's going to eat both of those guys alive.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it from Sam Darnold before.
Yeah, we know how his relationship with Sam Darnold is. And even though P.J. Walker. I don't know why I keep thinking Washington. Even though P.J. Walker is a good quarterback, he's mobile, he can do stuff with his feet. He's a good thrower of the ball too. Nobody's coming in. Yeah.
He's not gonna.
Nobody's coming into their. Would it be his first? It'd be his first start.
I think so. Yes.
In the history of the NFL, right? It'd be his first NFL start.
I think it would be. Yeah.
Yeah. So nobody. I don't care who you are. You're not gonna come into your first NFL start and beat Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
It's just.
I
don't care if you're
Mahomes. I can't name one. There might have been one or two, but
and I guarantee you that was on it must have been on a loaded roster if it's ever happened. And the idea that it would be his first start, you'd have to get somebody if you're trying to find a comp, you'd have to find somebody week 1. Yeah. And it's just very tough. I think if it is PJ Walker, I think you just chalk it up right there. That's the game.
Yeah. The only thing he can really do that Sam's shown us, I think, this year that he can scramble, but he's not a typical scrambler. Walker can definitely move, though, so that's one thing to keep an eye on. But I don't see him coming.
I think he'd just make too many mistakes to overcome. So for final score projections, I had 30-19 originally. I'm gonna drop it to. I'm gonna go 30-17. I just think this defense is rolling right now. They're establishing something. They're coming off, like we said, their best week.
Yep.
They've really shut down Justin Herbert and held him to only 24. So, yeah, I'm going to go 30-17 Patriots. Another big win for them, and then they can roll back home. Should be a good game against the Browns following week. So
yeah. Yeah, I got the Pats winning 28-20. I just really think the Panthers' defense is going to keep them in that game. I'd like to see Mac not make any picks, but that defense is pretty good at turning the ball over, so hopefully he can limit that. And then the other thing I just really want to touch on really quick is Adrian Phillips. I think he's going to have another big game, especially if McCaffrey's back. Mm-hmm. I think he's going to have to cover that kind of like Eckler type defense, if the swing passes and the runs, obviously. But, expect him to have a pretty big game.
All right. So we both got the Pats winning this week. I do want to touch on it real quick just because for reactionary purposes, I think it's a great topic. Mike White, man.
Dude.
What a game, man. That was insane. The spread on that game was 11 going, which is as high as you ever see in the NFL. Mm-hmm. And like the amount of people, I would have taken the over before that game. I would have thought they would have beat him by 25.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. I don't know.
It was the Bengals, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know who was the number one team in the AFC. I don't know what you do if you're the Jets.
Dude, if Mike White continues to play, even like close to what he's been playing, like at least last game.
Yeah.
I don't think he had a horrible game against New England either.
I don't think so either. He came into that game. He had no plan of playing, and I thought he did pretty well.
So
the 1 week he gets to fully prepare, he knocks off the number one team in the entire conference.
Yeah. So
with the Jets roster, like. It classic Jets to the one time you get a big win. It's a huge negative. It's your backup quarterback. Oh. It's like what do you do? That's the best quarterback play they've had in years. And you got this clown from BYU sitting on your bench.
Dude, I don't know.
That you took on with the second pick. What do you do?
I don't know, man. I should be looking there.
Would you put any stock?
All over the league should be looking there.
Would you put any stock whatsoever in trading Zach Wilson?
Dude, I mean, not yet.
It's one game.
It's too early. It's
one
Way
game.
Too early. But
you gotta at least give Mike White opportunities.
Yeah. So let's
moving forward. So
let's say Zach's out another 4 weeks. Like he was, I think it was 2 to 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So 3 more weeks. Let's say he's out. If Mike White wins every single game,
oh my God. Don't even. Oh my God.
There's no way you can't keep him the rest of the season.
If he does, even if he wins 3 of the next 4, that's all time for the Jets. You win 3 out of 4.
Yeah, and especially if he's putting up 400, 3 touchdowns, whatever he did.
And you can get a boatload for trading Zach Wilson.
He's still young.
Somebody might give you 2 first-round picks. Yeah. For Zach Wilson right now. He's brand fucking new.
Yeah.
Brand. Oh, man.
The other thing is the Jets seem to rally behind White a little bit. Dude, did you see what Ty Johnson said in the postgame?
No.
He said something like, Mike White's a dog. Like, he's capable of this. He can come out and play these. So, like, I didn't see anyone talking like that about Zach.
Nope.
So, I mean, I don't know.
Wow, man. It's...
So, I honestly had no idea who the fucking guy was last week.
I can't even, like...
After this week, though, I don't know.
I can't even... I know it's not a person. I can't even, like, look the camera in the face. I'm so, like... It's insane.
It's crazy, yeah.
It is absolutely...
I'm rooting for him, though.
Oh, me too. It's great to root and laugh against
the Jets.
Yeah, it's always fun to just watch the shit show unfold that is the New York Jets.
It's crazy because it's a shit show, but it's like not at the same time.
Yeah,
because like you
just knocked off the number one team. Yeah, they might have found somebody, but now you've wasted this. You tanked all of last year to pick this kid who's now going to be irrelevant.
Was he drafted? I don't even know where he came from. Is he a rookie? Is he a?
I have no idea.
I really have no idea.
I have absolutely no idea.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, all right. So, hey, we both said Pat's winning. I got him winning 30-17.
And I got 28-20.
All right. So that's our picks. That's our little Mike White discussion. Had to talk about it. Just huge story in the NFL. So, yeah. Thanks for joining us, guys. This is our 10th episode, so thanks if you've watched everyone, even if it is your first one, whatever.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Get the word out.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you guys a bunch for staying tuned every week. And be sure to catch us next week where we will break down this game and look ahead to another big game, Browns. Patriots versus Browns in Gillette. So thank you guys. Go Pats.
Go Pats.